Nyawira was diagnosed with autism at the age of 5 years. This was after her mom Wambeti sought answers for her delayed speech. Let's take a look at that story.
Wambeti Njoroge is the mother to Nyawira Njoroge, a 13-year-old daughter who is the second born in a family of 4.
My name is Wambeti Njoroge, and this is Nyawira Njoroge, and I'm a mother of 4, and Nyawira is a second born, and she's 13 now, and she's autistic, or has recovered or living with autism. And it's been a journey of 13 years, and it's been a long journey.
Nyawira had speech delay and was taken to the hospital where she was diagnosed with autism at the age of 5. The doctor gave some remedies which did not work.
Nyawira was diagnosed at 5.5 years after we've waited for the speech to come, and it didn't come because everybody kept saying so-and-so's child has autism, has speech delay, and so she will talk. But at 5.5, one of my sisters insisted that we really must get a diagnosis now from a doctor on what is going on. And so we went and saw a doctor, and he diagnosed her with autism and told us what intervention we can. But he was not keen. He just said that just go and give, you may or may not remove wheat and milk, and she will improve and talk, and you can give 7 C's, and the speech eventually will come. So there was no emphasis on how important or key that we should do this. It was just you may and you may not. So
she decided to do some research and found a book called Gut and Psychology Syndrome, which had information on which specific diet to use, which greatly helped Nyawira gain her speech.
So we came home and started researching on what autism is and how to overcome it and how to get better, and that was at 5.5 years. My husband was looking for any information, any book or magazine that could be having any info. And finally he found this book, which is called Gut and Psychology Syndrome. And it says that it's natural treatment for autism, dyspraxia, ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, depression, and schizophrenia. So this is, when he found this book in a bookshop in Dubai, he brought it. And this was our eureka moment. Yes. Because after reading, this was new, and that's something we could try. It just said we do diet and intervene 100% on using diet. So we did diet. It's GAPS diet. We withdrew the wheat, and we saw now the emphasis, which would have wished the doctor who diagnosed her with autism, we wished that he had stressed the import of keenly, withdrawing milk and all types of milk, and withdrawing wheat, and withdrawing anything with food color and food preservative from her diet, because this book stresses that. And when we did that for a continuous 1 year, we'd cook food separately for her, and that is when we saw we got our first word at 7 years.
Nyawira joined Uthiru Genesis Primary School at the age of 8 and had to begin from baby class since she had not learned anything previously.
And we got to Uthiru Genesis because we live in Uthiru. So we went to Uthiru Genesis, and the director decided to give us a chance. But he insisted that the last 3 years she had been at school, because of the interview she did, was 0. She had learned nothing and could not be considered even being 7.5 or 8 years that she should join her peers in grade 1. So we had to start from baby class.
Wambeti says that her husband and her sisters have given her support and helped her with whatever she needed.
I'd like to thank my sister, 2 of my sisters. One is Grace and Nancy, who walked with me in this journey. Because like Grace is the one who insisted that, Rachel, this baby has to be diagnosed. This cannot just be a speech delay, and insisted and said, I'm actually going to even pay for the consultation of the doctor. And we went with her and my other sister Nancy, and we got the diagnosis. The import of having family stand with you is very key, and I'm really thankful that they were there. And when she was working in South Africa, anyone she knew was coming this way would be sent with gluten-free flour and vitamins for my daughter. And having that kind of support really assisted me and helped me, and felt I didn't feel alone.
She advises parents who have children with disabilities to be proud of their children and stop neglecting them.
If you have a sister who has a child with a special need, or a brother who has a child with a special needs, to be supportive, to go out of your way also to find information, to help them, to encourage them, and not to just gossip and seclude them from your family.
Wambeti feels that the government should create more awareness about autism so that people can know more about it and how to handle such people. They can as well put up specific schools for people with disabilities and train the teachers on how they can handle the students.
I would request the government to create more awareness, about the disease, autism, because we get little going at Autism Society of Kenya, to give it a blast so that the awareness is felt to the grassroots, because now this autism has gotten to the villages. It's not like a town disease anymore, and the stigma there is witchcraft, is husbands leave wives who have children with autism. This is, you get like separated from society, or because of autism. But if the government intervened and did this, like give a voice to, maybe if it has to use Autism Society of Kenya to give it a blast, so that this voice and this information is heard to the grassroots, then the awareness will be there. People will know what it is, and maybe this would come through going back to the traditional social worker, that the level 5s who are in the grassroots have a department where there's an autism center or a special needs center. Let there be centers where this child can be sent, because all schools, then they can be like technical, like integrated schools. They are learning, and at the same time learning something they can do later in life, like skills, let them be there and affordable. Like they can do even one school per county to begin with, so that there will be centers where you're taking our children to learn. If they cannot learn in the normal schools, there are centers where you take your special needs child, because a lot of these children, if you see them, when you're looking at them, you cannot tell they're autistic. The battle is within, it's mental, but they can sit still and weave something. They can sit still and learn a skill. Let these facilities be available.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.